Okay. I'll wait for everybody to get into the room. I had to restart this live, you guys, because I made the title something, I guess, that caught the attention of sperm. Oh God, hi Lynn J, hi the faux fashionista. Okay, everybody's in here. So I had to restart it because trolls, I don't know why I tried to call them sperms just now. Trolls were trolling the shit out of our lives in the other morning tea, and I think it's because I named it mass shooting, and so I just caught the attention of all the sperms / trolls. All right, so we have our moderator here. Wait for everybody to come in. That was like insane. I was being spammed like crazy. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome. Oh, Mr. Black Gnostic, welcome. Okay, so let's start off talking about something that's equally sad. Well, sad, not equally sad, but very sad. Toni Morrison passed away. She was 88 years old. I'm going to be honest with you. I literally could never read a Toni Morrison book. The prose was just too much above my reading level. Like it took me, I tried to read The Bluest Eye, and I feel like I read that first chapter so many times. I still don't know what it was about. I'm definitely going to try again because now that she's passed, like I want to, read the workings. But I was just like, damn, like I'm not smart enough to read Toni Morrison. But yeah, so Sula, Song of Solomon, The Bluest Eye, like, I really, really, really thought that she was a phenomenal woman. Some of the quotes and some of the things that I saw from her over the years were just so uplifting. How she talked about racism. Like, it's so interesting because I feel like we're going through a second civil rights movement right now. And before this era, where all of a sudden this information is available to us, I always felt like it kind of stopped in the middle. Like we had the civil rights in the 60s and like 70s stuff was going on, and then like nothing was happening. And then all of a sudden, like now things are being said. But I realized that Maya Angelou and Toni Morrison and Alice Walker and, all of these great artists were just continuing the fight and the struggle and having conversations about racism. And Cornel West, like they still were doing it. And I just didn't realize they were, because maybe social media wasn't around and wasn't heavily like quoting their things. And so I'm starting to jump down a Toni Morrison rabbit hole to kind of see what it was that she talked about. And there was this conversation she was having with this white reporter, where she was talking about racism and how it isn't a black problem, but it's like a white problem and they need to figure it out. And then there was a quote that if you need to, if a group of people need to be on their knees in order for you to stand tall, then that's a problem. So I just, we lost an icon. I mean, Maya Angelou died. I was boohooing at work, and nobody knew what was going on. And Toni Morrison just made yesterday really somber for me. And so it's just kind of sad that all of these women who, like when not to put this out in the energy, like in the world, but like Alice Walker, like, if she were to pass away, I'd be like so sad, these women, their works really touched me and made me feel like a phenomenal woman. Made me really proud. Okay, so that was Toni Morrison, age 88. Any of you guys read any Toni Morrison? Like, what's your favorite book? Were you able to read Sula? Were you, like, if you did, let me know in the comment section. All right, 37 people in this room, 10 likes. If we can get some more likes, that'd be awesome. All right, so let's get down to the shootings. You guys, I mean, I literally, like I was saying in my other live, I literally don't have any answers about it. I don't know what the solve is. I just don't know. All I can do is talk about it and kind of like move through it. And the El Paso shooting was race related. It was definitely geared towards the Latinos. And I just don't understand why there are people in this country who feel that other people shouldn't be here. I just don't get it. I don't understand the logic behind it, because I feel like this country is made up of immigrants. This country has a very terrible history as it's beginnings. Oh my God, it's literally happening again. Thank you guys. The spammers are back. There's nothing I can do. It's just so sad. It is just the saddest thing. And I just don't know what the solve is. Is it gun control? Possibly. Is it better education and stopping of the hate rhetoric when it comes to invasion? So the commentary was that the shooter of El Paso used a lot of Trump rhetoric. Not a lot. He used the word invasion, which is what Trump used. Invasion, when it comes to immigration. And I just don't get it. Like, I just don't understand this idea. I mean, from the transatlantic slave trade, bringing slaves here to work on this land, and the killing of the Native Americans, which obviously happened first, and, happened for a very long time. The Chinese coming and building the railroads, and like all of these different subcultures and cultures coming here and creating, what are they called? The Norwegians, I believe. They went to like the Midwest and developed, and just like all this thing, like we just had this country filled with immigrants who came to this country all throughout history. And now we still have the same issue. And it's like, at some point it was okay. And then at some point it wasn't okay, And I just don't know what the difference is. I don't understand the whys, and I don't understand what's not. So Lynn J, don't put them on a timeout. Hide them from the channel. No timeouts. Hide. Yeah, great. Okay. So yeah. Oh my God. Got it. All right. It's the trolls. Like, we're doing it. We're trying to do it, you guys. So, yeah, it's really a difficult topic to try to like unpack, So anyways, that El Paso, Texas, there was 22 people who passed away, 26 injured. And that was really hard because there were children there. I mean, it's all really hard, but there's children there. So what I watched was a woman who was with her husband and her 2 kids. And I don't know where the kids went, but she was shot, and she didn't know she was shot, but she saw that her husband had been shot 3 times. And then she like checked him, saw that he was okay. She didn't see she didn't see the bullet wounds, and she kissed him on his forehead and then went off to look for her kids because she couldn't find them in the Walmart. And it turns out that she ended up collapsing because she didn't know she was shot. And then she ended up finding her kids, but her husband is still in a coma. She says that she saw a woman get shot in the head. And so at some point she like had to drop to the ground and pretend that she was dead. And it's just so heartbreaking. Like people are just going to Walmart, minding their business, and they have their kids, and it's like the family place, and it's, and they just get killed because they're Latino. Like, does that even make any sense? It doesn't. It really, really doesn't make any sense. And so the FBI has let our leaders know that domestic, like white supremacist domestic terrorism, is the biggest threat to the U.S. right now. So they're really working hard to kind of root out these groups. The problem is that when they're individuals, it's hard to track these individuals. It's just hard to do it. And it's when you have a government that I think is using rhetoric that, in the minds of like people who aren't angry and disenfranchised, doesn't mean anything, but it's touching those who are angry and disenfranchised. And so it's meaning things to them. So there was protests in El Paso for the president to not come, to not show up, because they feel like he is directly responsible for this behavior. The president tweeted something out that one of the shooters was a fan of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, which I just felt was such a tacky and stupid thing to do. Like, who cares? One of his critiques, though, was that because Barack Obama released a statement and on Twitter, which I will read to you guys, and Trump made a tweet that said that President Bush never came back and said anything to President Obama regarding Sandy Hook. So why should President Obama come up and say anything negative about him, about these shootings? And I think the difference is because obviously, like, Obama's rhetoric and the way he was running the country had nothing to do with someone going in and killing a child. This is why we all need to vote blue. Thank you so much, Renee. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the room. So I'm going to read to you what President Obama said. It's rather lengthy, so I'm going to try to go quick with it. It says, Michelle and I grieve with all the families in El Paso and Dayton who endure these latest shootings. Even if details are still emerging, there are a few things we already know to be true. First, no other nation on earth comes close to experiencing the frequency of mass shootings that we see in the United States. No other developed nation tolerates the levels of gun violence that we do. Every time this happens, we're told that tougher gun laws won't stop all murders, that they won't stop every deranged individual from getting a weapon and shooting innocent people in public areas. But the evidence show that they can stop some killings. They can save some families from heartbreak. We are not helpless here. And until all of us stand up and insist on holding public officials accountable for changing our gun laws, these tragedies will continue to happen. Second, the motivations behind these shootings may not yet be fully known. There are indications that the El Paso shooter followed a dangerous trend. Troubled victims who embrace racist ideologies and see themselves obligated to act violently to preserve white supremacy. Like the followers of ISIS and other foreign terrorist organizations, these individuals may act alone, but they have been radicalized by white supremacist websites that proliferate on the internet. That means that both law enforcement agencies and internet platforms need to come up with better strategies to reduce the influence of these hate groups. But just as important, all of us have to send a clarion call and behave with the values of tolerance and diversity that should be the hallmark of our democracy. We should soundly reject language coming out of the mouths of our leaders that feed a climate of fear and hatred that normalizes racist sentiments, leaders who demonize those who don't look like us or suggest that other people, including immigrants, threaten our way of life, or refer to other people as subhuman, or imply that America belongs to just one certain type of people. I agree with that. Such language isn't new. It's been the root of most human tragedy throughout history, here in America and around the world. It is at the root of slavery and Jim Crow, the Holocaust, the genocide in Rwanda, ethnic cleansing in the Balkans. It has no place in our politics and our public life, and it's time for the overwhelming majority of Americans, goodwill of every race and faith and political party to say as much clearly and inevitably. So that's what he said. And so, Trump read the line that says we should soundly reject language coming out of the mouths of any of our leaders that feed a climate of fear, hatred, and normalize racist sentiments, leaders who demonize those who don't look like us or suggest that other people, including immigrants, threaten our way of life, or to refer to people as subhuman, or simply imply that American belongs to one type of people. And so Trump took that as an attack on him and made that comment about George Bush. And I just think that it's just such a different thing. Like, you can say that obviously nothing that anyone said got that man to go and kill those kids. Like, that was seriously something that had to do with him being mad at his mom for being a teacher. So, like, I don't understand why Trump would relate that to him when he definitely has had rhetoric about the others and making them different, and the immigrants and those people who are taking away American jobs. And, that we have this whole thing. There are still people who are separated from their children, all peoples that come from the Central and South and Mexico. Like, people are not with their children right now. They got separated from their children at the border. Like, could you imagine? No one deserves that. No matter if they're coming here illegally, no matter if they're, they don't deserve to have their children taken from them. They just don't. And so it to me, when people make arguments about stuff like that, I'm like, no one deserves that. This crime or the reaction to them being here, the violence that's happening, no one deserves that behavior. Okay, so let's move on to the Dayton one. The Dayton one is also very sad too. This one, they don't see any racist or like white supremacist sort of behavior towards that. They interviewed his one of his ex-girlfriends, and she said that this had nothing to do with race, that she believes that it was someone who had mental illness. She saw some signs in the beginning. She said that he showed her mass shootings when they first started dating, and they kind of came together with the understanding that they didn't have the family support to help them with their mental illness. This man went into a Dayton, Ohio bar and killed, I believe, 9 people, including 2 people that were from one family. So this one man lost 2 cousins that were there. There was a mother who was talking about her daughter who had just had a baby recently, and this was her first night out with her friends. They didn't even have an opportunity to get inside the bar. The shooter shot them while they were outside the bar, and she FaceTimed her boyfriend to tell him to come and get her. She said she was grazed by a bullet. Come and get me. I got to get to my kids. And he's like, no, you need to stay there and go to the hospital. And I think she died shortly thereafter. Like, she didn't know she had extensive wounds. I think when she got shot, she was like, get me out of here. I got to go with my kids, you know? Can you imagine a woman who already probably feels kind of guilty for leaving her girls to go out, but she needed that one night out? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how old her baby was. The baby looked to be about 3 months. It's her first time out. She's hanging out with some girlfriends. She's going to a bar, you know? Not doing anything crazy. They hadn't even had the opportunity to order their drinks yet. So you're already feeling a little bit of guilt, just a little bit, right? As a mom, a little bit of guilt for going out, but you know you need it. And then you get shot, girl, and the only thing you can think of is getting back to your kids. So you FaceTime your boyfriend to try to tell him to come get you because this like shit got wild, and you're like, okay, great, come get me. I need to go. I mean, it's just so terrible. It's just so terrible. So Dayton, Ohio is really hurting right now too. Oh, Lord, who knows? It can happen anytime, anywhere. Like a Walmart, like it can happen anytime, anywhere. I'm not trying to tell people to like be on alert, because there's really nothing that you can do until we like, what are you going to do? Just drop on the ground. That's the only thing you can do. But if you have a kid, if you have multiple children in the grocery store, like what does that say? Parents, don't go to the store with multiple children. Like, what are you supposed to do? Multiple kids. How do you get them all down on the ground and get them to be quiet? You can't. They're going to be upset, crying, bewildered, don't know what to do. Like, it's too much. It's too much, and I don't have a solve for it. What are you guys saying? Thank you, Khadijah. I love the name Khadijah, girl. I love it. When I first heard it on Living Single, I was like, this name is beautiful. Khadijah, I love it. Let's see. Baby Nico's part of the reason why I love being a homebody. Kimberly says that's awful. The poor woman and her child. Walmart festivals, schools, just crazy. Says Monica X. Open Bob. I don't leave my house, so I know I'm safe. Lynn J says I was on a camping trip while this happened. I'm afraid of just doing normal things. Turned me into a homebody. Yeah. Concita says, what will these shootings do except put fear in people? Sally says, if we don't stop living our lives, the terrorist wins. Jesse Lee, welcome. I was in a mall and everyone started running and hiding in the stockroom thinking it was a mass shooting, but it was a robbery. Gee Louise. Oh my God. Girl Brazilian, nothing to do with race. Come on, explain yourself, girl Brazilian. The Dayton, Ohio, they're saying that they don't have anything to do with race. I mean, do you have more information than I do? You can go ahead and say it. Kimberly Mayfield, my home is my sanctuary. Kim, babies like mine. This makes you afraid to go anywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's just crazy. Baby Nico says, I'm a teacher and it scares me every year when I do mental active shooting drills. Lock up the door, push my students to the closet. Yeah. Open Bob says Ohio victims were mostly Black. Oh, was it a mostly Black bar? Okay. That's I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that because I just don't know. Our kids start school today and just dropping them off, you have it in the back of our mind. Yeah, I mean, my company did an active shooter training recently, and so they taught us like what to do. So there's three options. They said you could either run in a zigzag line, you can hide and get behind a door and like bolt the door, or like put something in front of the door and make everybody quiet, take off the lights, and then call 911, and you don't even have to speak. They'll just come to you, and then not to open the door until you know it's law enforcement. And then the third option, which I think is fucking crazy, and I'm like, who do you think I am? Is to come up behind the active shooter and monkey jump on them until you can hold their hands down and like grab them with their feet, but with your feet. But also, like, if you do that, then you need to prepare for the struggle of your life. You cannot give in. Like, if you are going to attack them and stop them, then you need to go to them with the intention of literally taking them down. Like, you like choke them, do whatever you got to do, but you can't let go. And I'm just like, I wouldn't want to do that to somebody and then have them like shoot. Because if I'm behind them and I monkey jump on them and I grab them and I'm like holding them, which I'm not strong to hold any grown ass man, he's just probably going to shoot. And then I don't want him to shoot more people. I'd rather run in a zigzag line or hide. Whew, girl. I mean, every company needs to do that. Every job. Remember when there was like the joke of like going postal because that one guy like who worked for the post office who got laid off went back and killed everybody, and it was like the thing, oh man, he went postal. Now it's just like, it's not even like he went postal anymore. It's like a whole thing. Like, say what? Fight a fair one with the shooter? No way, Jose. No, it's not fight a fair one. If you're gonna jump on them, you got to be prepared to like take them down literally by any means necessary. So if that means like choking them to death or like bringing them down on the ground and like hitting them, like you gotta do whatever. Lynn J says, watch the Funky Dinebo video. He talks about the fact that the white men were majority of the mass shooter, and it's very informative. I mean, I think we all know that white men are they are the homegrown terrorists. Like, they're the ones who are doing it. Crystal, you got to run in a zigzag line and hide. You can't run straight. You got to like, and then hide. Linda girl, I mean, listen, if you want to fight back, that's on you. I can't. I don't think I have the strength to do it. Okay, but you guys just be safe. I mean, I can say be safe, but like, what does that mean? I just gave you the information. Run in a zigzag line, hide behind something, bolt yourself in. That's my advice. So Boy Scouts of America. So Boy Scouts of America just got into litigation because 350 victims have come forward. The victims range from the age of 15 to 97. They said that they are sorry that this has happened underneath their watch, and there have been allegations that the Boy Scout of America have been hiding these allegations of child molestation for years, just like the Catholic Church. And that they do their best to kind of not sweep it under the rug, but handle it privately so that their brand or their company doesn't get pushed. What am I trying to say? My mind is all over the place because of these shootings. But their company doesn't have a bad rap, right? But the truth is, I'm not surprised. I feel like there are certain areas that are breeding ground for pedophiles to live out their lives or their desires or whatever, and they don't know how to weed that. Like, how do you weed that out? But no one's gonna say, yes, I'm a pedophile. They just find these things. They find these organizations to get involved in where they're dealing with young people, like camp advisors. Like, there's a lot of different ways and places for pedophiles to live in. And I'm pretty sure that it's happening in the Girl Scouts of America too, because pedophiles aren't only men, you guys. Like, pedophile it's not gender, you know? It's anyone who's attracted to a prepubescent child, and it is a thing. Like, it's not. This is my thing about pedophilia, and this is not for me thinking about anybody in this on this internet or in this chat room who has been molested or anything as a child. I'm not making an excuse for it. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that as like from a scientific perspective, the same way you are attracted to, it's an attraction. It is an attraction that is not accepted. It is accepted in other places. Like there are places in this world where that kind of attraction is accepted, where men are allowed to marry 12-year-old girls, where, and you can say, and people can say whatever they want. Like, oh, in history, 12-year-olds were able to get married. Like once you have you're starting to bleed, you're okay. But listen, for you to look at a 12-year-old girl and to feel something, or a 12-year-old boy and to feel something, that is pedophilia. They're not old enough. No, it is pedophilia. Now, if that is your thing and you know it and you don't act on it, kudos to you. You're still a pedophile. Keep your business to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. Now, a child molester is the person who actually acts on those behaviors. And you know it's wrong. They know it's wrong. So we're not living in a time where it's just kind of taboo. It's wrong. It is wrong. This society doesn't accept it. If you want to go to a place that accepts it, go and fly to some other country where it's acceptable or it's kind of like not talked about or like whatever. But it is not okay in the US and in most countries around the world. So people just need to fucking control themselves. Like who you are attracted to is wrong, is not accepted. Keep it to yourself. Don't abuse children. And it's sad because most of these people who are abusing children were abused as children themselves. So it's like a pathology. And it's just like the problem is that the US, and I don't know if other countries do, but specifically in the US, psychologists and you know the word I'm trying to say. They don't do research into pedophilia. Like no one's going to fund a bunch of doctors to be able to do research into pedophilia, to actually have programs to help them and to be better and to know that they can't act in it. So what's happening is online, there are groups who are dedicated to helping each other get through their pedophilia. They're not acting on it. They don't allow people who have thought about acting on it, or not thought about it, but people who have acted on it into the groups. But they're just like, these homegrown, like not secret societies per se, but like homegrown little groups of people who are trying to work through their desires, but there's no actual help for them. And if there are, there's very few doctors who will treat them and who will help them to work through their issues. And so if we as a country and the doctors who work on mental illness, and I don't know if it would even be mental illness, so I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying who work on issues that are part of the human condition, would do more work on pedophilia and have it be a kind of, I mean, I still think they wouldn't be able to say, hey, I'm a doctor that works with pedophiles, you know what I'm saying, just for their own safety, because I don't think people would be okay with that. But like if there was just some kind of something to where people who have it and who acknowledge it and who don't want to act on it and want to get better and want help have a place to go, I think that would help. I'm not excusing any behavior because I feel like once you act on it, you're an asshole. But like there are people who have that feeling inside and don't act on it. So I just think that the Boy Scouts and certain organizations that cater to children who have adults dealing with children need to be really vigilant and maybe have some kind of program for that. Like be like, you know, you need to go through this testing and like get them to see if they have the traits of somebody who might be attracted to children, or maybe even have like explicit conversations with them. Like maybe that's a hard conversation with everybody they hire, every single camp counselor. Come into the office. Let's talk about pedophilia. If you touch a fucking kid, if you behave inappropriately in any way with one of these children, if you are here to prey on children, we will bury you. Like threaten them. Like threaten them. Every single one of them. Doesn't matter if they're a pedophile or not. Every single person who works for that organization needs to be threatened. It needs to be overtly talked about. Okay, so the last topic that I want to talk about, we're at 28 minutes, we've got a couple minutes, is the fact that Dollar General and Dollar Trees are popping up everywhere. And there is studies that show that isn't the best for mom and pop stores, and that it isn't the best for communities to get produce, because a lot of these Dollar Generals and these 99-cent stores and these Family Dollars, they're now selling produce, which isn't the best produce. And so people don't have the opportunity to get better products. Now, the price is right at those places. And so that's why people flock to Dollar General and flock to certain places to buy food and stuff because it's cheaper for them and their family. However, it isn't the best quality, and it's stopping other companies, like other businesses, grocery stores, from coming into those neighborhoods. So like if the only way you can get produce is from the Dollar General, that's a problem, right? You need to have the options of being able to pay a little bit more to get better food, better quality stuff, especially because like some of that stuff be so like years old and doesn't even, it's not, I mean, I feel like it's barely FDA approved, like, but you're buying it because it's super cheap. Now, I do go into the Dollar Tree. I buy things like fake flowers from the Dollar Tree as opposed to as opposed to like Walmart. I buy like cards or like party stuff from the Dollar Tree. I'll buy like decorations for Halloween, like little stuff to put in the house from the Dollar Tree. What else do I buy from the Dollar Tree? Like stationery. So if I need like construction paper or like pencils or like folders or stuff like that, I'll buy that from the Dollar Tree. But like, or like little glass vases, you know, because they're 99 cents. I'll get them from the Dollar Tree. Anything like household little things that don't need to be fancy, I'll get it from the Dollar Tree. But I'm not going to buy like Ziploc bags. And I know that people do, but I want my Ziploc bags to remain closed and to be good quality. So I buy them from the regular store. So it's just certain things that I do buy. I don't go shopping at the Dollar Tree. Like I'm not in there like with a cart and a basket buying stuff. And that's because just me personally, I can afford to buy things that are a little bit more higher quality at other places. And so I choose to do that. But when you have communities that necessarily will just go to that won't necessarily go to Ralph's or go to Vons or go to Stater Brothers or go to, you know, these Kroger's, what are other HEB? Like, I don't know any other, like C-Town. Like I'm trying to think of grocery stores in different states, but like they won't necessarily go to those places. Why? When they can get produce for like 99 cents at the 99-cent store, but it's not like good produce. It's like bottom of the barrel stuff. But it depends on you and I guess your lifestyle, but it does make it so that you don't have as much choice. So at some point, all you're going to have are Dollar Trees around your house. And that isn't necessarily the best thing for you and your family. So Renee says that she buys disposable food containers at the Dollar Tree. Thriftway and Safeway. Oh yeah, Safeway. There's Safeway in Seattle. Ashley says, I think Wah was just saying that there are correlations between people that abuse and have been abused themselves. That's not to say that people that have been abused will abuse. Oh, and yeah, I'm not saying that at all. Thank you so much, Ashley. I'm not sure who decided that I was saying one thing when I wasn't. I'm just saying that there is a correlation. Yeah. So if you guys are shopping around in your areas, just make sure that, you know, you use the Dollar Tree to your advantage, but also like keep the other businesses in working too. Like mom and pop stores. I like to go into mom and pop stores. Mom and pop stores be so expensive for no reason. Thank you for the super chat, Janelyn. You're so generous. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Sending love. Have a great day, everyone. Bye, Janelyn. Have a fantastic day. But yeah, I try to go to mom and pop stores whenever I can. If they're nice, you know, sometimes they can be a little bit like, but I think I definitely like to go to mom and pop stores just to, you know, people are really putting their money out there and trying to provide a service to the community. And I want to support them and the service that they're providing. And I can afford to, because like I said, they are a little expensive. Sometimes they can be. All right, you guys. So that is the end of, you know, this video. Kim says they can stick a Dollar Tree or Dollar General in all of these small areas while Walmart wouldn't be allowed. It may be the only store in some small towns. Oh, yes, Kim. Now, if it's the only store, that is fine. That is some of the comments that we're saying too, is that if it's the only store, that's fine. But there are also mom and pops who suffer from it too. But like I say, if you are in those places where the Dollar Tree is the only thing, then that's fine. But also, try to give some love to the mom and pops as well. You know, just try to make it even if you can. But yeah, I think that people deserve to have like a store, obviously, where they can buy snacks and stuff. And that's what the Dollar Tree has, you know. And they even have makeup. I watched somebody like go and buy all this makeup from Dollar Tree to see about using it. And like Dollar Tree is actually putting a little effort into their makeup so that they can have better quality stuff so that people will come in there and purchase it. Toby says, abuse and violence doesn't exist in a vacuum. I wish you well. Okay. They shut down the Thriftway and opened a Dollar Tree. I was upset. See, yeah, that's what's happening. is things like have like the Dollar Tree, the Family Dollar, the Walmart, and it's one of those small Walmarts that have mostly food. And then, yeah, those are all within the same area. And I forget that the Walmart is there, and I don't go to the Family Dollar because it's not family friendly. It's expensive in there. I'm like, I want it to be $1. Everything's like $2.99. I'm like, I came here for $1 things. So I'll go to the Dollar Tree instead. All right, you guys. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Morning Tea. Thank you for coming along with me. Thank you for those of you who came back to this live, especially when the trolls hit hard. And Lynn J for doing the Lord's work. The Lord's work. Lynn J for doing the Lord's work. Thank you so much. Blue did not come back into this room to do moderator. Maybe she didn't see that I had came back again. Oh, Flicker the Flame, you gave me a super chat and I didn't even notice. She said, I work for a man and we went over our procedures yesterday because none of us had a clue. Did you hear that the peeps in New York ran when they heard a motor car? Oh, I did hear about that, Flicker the Flame. I did hear that in New York, they didn't know what was going on and they just started running. Yeah, I mean, we're all scared. I would just drop to the ground, girl. If I had to drop to the ground in New York City, I'd be very upset with everybody around me. All right, you guys. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I will see you next, probably Monday or Tuesday for my Love After Lockup. I still have to film my 90 Day the Other Way video, so that's going to come out sometime this week. And that's it. I hope you guys are watching before the 90 days. It's actually really good. So if you're watching it, I have my review up with Chris, and it was such a good episode. Such a good episode. All right, you guys, remember to have a fantastic day, have a fantastic week, and be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Thanks, Lynn J, for doing the Lord's work. Esther, I'm leaving. Bye.